When Mark Cuban joined the other sharks on Shark Tank, he initially agreed to it, thinking it was going to be a short-term job because the owner of the Dallas Mavericks NBA team didn't think the show was going to be a hit it turned out to be. But now Cuban realizes that Shark Tank's success isn't because it is a show about business, but because it is an inspirational show that demonstrates that the American dream is still alive. Currently worth $3.4 billion, Cuban's massive achievements came on the heels of many failures, all of which were valuable even if painful learning experiences. His story goes to show that sometimes you have to lose 20 times or more before winning big. And what seems the luck is really just grit, although many things may not last forever. That is why today we will be getting into Mark Cuban's 10 biggest failures. Before we begin, a word from Hypelit.
Hypelit Store offers the finest quality clothes and accessories with one-of-a-kind designs. And to make things even better, every single item is at a 50% discount with worldwide free shipping included. HypelitStore.com, there's a bit of everything for everyone.
Number 1. When you couldn't learn a fallback trade. While growing up in Pittsburgh, Cuban's parents encouraged him to learn a trade should he ever need a job to fall back on. Practical advice except for one small problem. Cuban was pretty bad at most of the jobs he took on. He worked as a carpenter laying down carpet and quickly discovered he was terrible at it. As a short order cook, he could only tell when food was ready by sampling it. And as a server, he struggled to open wine bottles without getting corks and diners merlots. Lesson learned, it's okay not to be great at everything. I've learned that it doesn't matter how many times you failed, Cuban says, you only have to be right once. Number 2. When his powdered milk gig held no water. Fresh out of business school at Indiana University, Cuban left his first job at a PC store because they didn't see a future in computers, set on starting his own business instead. Cuban's very first venture was not destined to be the big break he'd hoped for. The idea? Powdered milk. He saw an ad for the product and thought everyone needs milk. It's cost effective and tastes about the same. Why not go for it? As it turned out, his parents were among his only customers. I honestly thought it would make a killer business, Cuban recalls, and it lasted minutes. The lesson? Don't misjudge the market or the product. There's a reason real milk reigns supreme, and judging by your taste alone isn't enough to launch something sustainable. Number 3. When being fired from a software job hardened his ambitions. After making a big move to Dallas, Cuban landed his first sales job at a company called Your Business Software. Knowing little about software, he taught himself on the job by reading all the manuals and went the extra mile to secure new customers. But his initiative wasn't enough to stop him from getting fired less than a year later. In fact, it was his initiative that would be his undoing. He closed a big deal with the client and called out of his opening shift to do against the CEO's wishes. When he returned the office with a $1,500 check, he was fired. For Cuban, this incident made clear to him why he wanted to start his own business. It's also why the CEO who fired him became his reverse mentor, says Cuban. Even now, I think back to the things he did and I do the opposite. He's also admitted to an entrepreneur to having his card cut up on one occasion. For Cuban, the lesson was simple. Use the shame and pain of such failures as a motivator to get back up and start winning. Number 4. These are Mark Cuban's words on finally getting it right. It doesn't matter how many times you almost get it right, no one is going to know or care about your failures, and neither should you. All you have to do is learn from them and those around you, because all that matters in business is that you get it right once. Then everyone can tell how lucky you are. When an NBA star reached huge heights without him. Cuban did eventually get his big break when he started Micro Solutions and later sold it for $6 million, the first of his many lucrative business transactions. By 2000, he was even able to buy a majority stake of the Dallas Mavericks. As owner, the Mavericks went from a 40% win rate to a 69% win rate. But even then, Cuban was not immune to failure. His biggest mistake was failing to re-sign Steve Nash, who led the Mavs to join the Suns and win MVP awards in the back-to-back seasons. It was a terrible flaw in judgment according to Cuban. We certainly didn't see him as a two-time MVP, and it was the biggest mistake I made not re-signing him. He told Fort Worth Star-Telegram, "We thought his body would break down, and it certainly didn't. So bad advice, bad across the board. The lesson, don't take bad advice. Hold on to your assets and don't underestimate what talented people can accomplish with or without you." Number 6. When his first TV show flopped, Mark Cuban would go on to be the wealthiest shark on ABC's Shark Tank as of 2012, but it was not his first reality TV rodeo. So to speak, the first called The Benefactor was a flop. The 2004 series involved 16 contestants vying for a $1 million prize, with Cuban judging their performances. Due to poor ratings, it was cancelled before the first season aired. It's just another example of the old "if at first you don't succeed" adage, and for Cuban, it worked. Shark Tank is now the most watched program on Friday nights for viewers aged 18 to 49. Number 7. Mark Cuban really believes that everyone can do something good, stating, "I truly believe each and every one of us is really good at something. The hard part is finding out what it is and going through all the different, kissing all the frogs before you find the prince of the job." Cuban says on the Thrive Global podcast, "And I think you have to try and experience as many things as you can, and once you get there and try to be as good as you can at it." Number 8. Cuban's best advice for college grads today is to get out there, take risks, and make a ton of mistakes. "Don't worry about landing the perfect job and doing everything right on the first go," he said, "because you're in the most flexible phase of your professional development." Cuban said now is the time to fail and learn from it.
And I think I feel the synergy when I see it. So there's some synergy with the team. So let's get right into it with the time that we have here together. Mark, biggest difference between being a millionaire and now, how do you stay so humble? I mean, you got to be the coolest cat in entrepreneurs. Everybody, people who follow you, you got a lot of opinions. You're not going to hold back on opinions.
You just don't know it.
Number 9. Cuban defined winning a little differently. To me, the most important thing is the 80-20 rule. So if I have the 20% that I think can really take off, that's what I really care about. A little win here and there doesn't really matter. You see, it's like the NBA's regular season. It's all fine and dandy, but only so much candy. Cuban wants the big win, presumably because it makes him feel big. When you're a TV star, you want big hits, not nice reviews on some celebrity blog. Number 10. Mark Cuban throws back to a time saying, "It goes to the heart of kids who are graduating today," he says. "They ask about jobs and I always like to tell them you don't have to get the perfect job. When you're 22, 23, 24, there's no such thing as failure really. Whatever job they take, they're getting paid to learn, and it's well worth it." He says, "I also tell kids I truly believe each and every one of us is really good at something."
From selling real estate to making baskets, and you know, I was just a normal kid, but I was always into business from as long as I could read.
And I just want to take some time to thank you for sharing your wisdom and giving back to us. So we're really excited to have you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We'll see if it's wisdom after you're done, right? But we close sales.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to do the work, and that's key.
I have a question, I guess, as a father and as a leader to youth is, and
I tell my kids,
how do you teach them to work?
I tell my kids that A, if they want something, they're going to have to earn it.
Yeah.
And B, if they don't work hard enough to earn it, I'm going to sell it. I'll go give blood. Dad, I'm 7. I don't care.
All right, so I was reading in your book and I noticed.
I would tell you that the number one thing that's going to dominate by the time these guys are 5 years out of college, software, doing wide area networks, and so I knew what a router, you know, which companies' routers worked and didn't work, which companies. Okay, so I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go play on the basketball team. I got an extra 6 hours on Saturday. You know, I'll do something on TaskRabbit. It's a great time to be a teenager because you don't have to get a stinking job. You just got to get a nap and have somebody pay you and be in the right place.
Yeah.
So I think.
Thank you so much for watching, guys, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you're new. Also, don't forget to turn that post notification bell on so you never miss our uploads. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.